All right, C1x Road to Launch, day 21. I think I got the day right in both or day wrong in both of the last two videos, but day 21. Um, Lots to do today. So it is day one of Pro Worlds. Doing this the morning of. Earliest video I've done in a while, but we've got a few goals today. So first is going to be to just finish cleaning up this screen. I want to do some marketing with Pro Worlds today. So the goal is going to be to get this cleaned up so that I can go through it in a video going over a Pro Worlds round. We've got a algorithm put together for my C1x round ratings, which I spent a little time on last night. I think I've got a starting point at least. So we're going to give that a try. Just to output a value. I don't think I'm going to make it all nice and pretty just yet. But the goal is to get the app ready for my marketing video. Then we're going to cut this one, hopefully less than 2 hours. I'm going to go through, we're going to film the marketing video for Worlds. We'll get that uploaded. That'll be the first one, round one. And then I might do another video later today where I just keep rolling through development. So we'll see. We will see. Now to finish cleaning this up. I had an idea for this. I was getting frustrated yesterday with the small overlap. It never happens on the left side. It's only on the right side. And it's just right here. Just these two spots. I don't know. I still don't quite know why it is overflowing. But we are going to try the sized box. We'll go here. Alright, so the below code gives me a nice segmented view of full scoring. Is it possible to add a black border on the sides of each container? Only on the sides. And have the percentages adjust to account for the width of the border. And I'm thinking that if I can get that black border in there, then I may be able to deal with the overlap as well. Modified render of my row. So this part here. All of the above, okay. So that is replacing this section. I think here. Okay. And we're replacing flexible with this. Return flexible. Oh, right here. Okay. Not quite. All right. Let's update this border width of 1 and have that border wrap all the way around each segment. I think this is roughly still the same thing, but that is fine. It does look maybe slightly changed. Okay. And then we're replacing flexible with this. Whoa. That is kind of what I was going for. I was hoping that it would actually wrap around it, but it is not. I don't think changing this here is gonna affect it. It is not. There is a little overlap on a small segment on the far right. Color bleeds over the border. Container inside of the flexible. Okay. Huh. Interestingly made it worse. That's a new one. Other option here is maybe I just make these not rounded at all. Like maybe this is the easy fix. I probably should have just started with this. I like the way that looks. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Layout builder. Containers here. Cliprect is there. Okay, I think I'm gonna roll with that for right now. Just the slightly rounded. I mean, we can maybe try a value somewhere in the middle and just see if that looks better. Like, I think I'm eventually gonna try and make it rounded at some point. Just, yeah, even that little bit. Okay. We're rolling with 0 right now. And we will we'll have to adjust later. All right, so changes to make. Scoring colors here. Let me delete this. All-time stat still works. Yes. Let's delete this. Let's get back to the example round. Just so I can see all the colors here. All right, style presets. We've got our stat graphic colors. All right, static var C2 putting ring color, C1x putting ring color, C1 putting ring color. And by creating it as a separate variable here, that means that if I want to give the user the option to change it in the future, I'm already set up for that. Static var fairway hits ring color, static var C2 and regulation ring color, static var C1 and regulation ring color, parked ring color. And now I just got to decide what colors I want them to be. So a little bit of color would be nice. Maybe putting we go blue. Driving stats we go green. Is that an option? I need help creating colors in the below format. I have 3 rings on a putting stat graphic, and I want them all to be shades of blue, vibrant, but still unique. I then have 4 rings on a driving stat that I want to be different shades of green. Something they will all be right next to each other. So something that is clean and consistent. See what it's got for me here. See what the greens are, because I might need to make the greens lighter just because I am going to be showing text on them. I need the greens to be slightly lighter, as I will have black text on them. Might end up being a little too much here, but give it a try. Sky, cerulean, indigo. Colors dot. Vivid sky. Cerulean, vivid indigo, and then what's our order up here? Lime, meadow, leaf, mint. Lime, vivid meadow, vivid mint, and vivid leaf. All right, and now let's go to the radial file. Setting colors here. We are going to have to distinguish between these. And they need to be in an array actually. Okay. So let's recreate this. Static var putting ring colors equals yes. C2 C2 putting ring, C1 C1x putting ring, C1 putting ring. Okay. And then we've got static var driving ring colors equals this. Nope. App theme colors dot vivid lime meadow leaf and mint. Nice. Thank you, autocomplete. That was nice. Driving ring colors. All right, so now here is colors an argument. Colors is not an argument I'm passing to it. It could be. It definitely could be, and maybe that makes sense, continuing to set it up in a way that I can control everything from here. Obviously not making it required, but we can go final list color colors. This, yeah, it's fine. Equals that. Stat graphic config. Let's go to the infographic. Graphic config dot colors. I'll build widget. Here. List color colors. Perfect. All right, now to radial. We'll accept it as an argument here. Final list color colors. I don't want colors. Required this dot colors. And then I can get rid of, let's see, blue goes on the outside, right? Yes. Okay, just making sure I had created them in the right order. And then we just do this. Colors there, colors there. So now it's required on radial. It's required here. So we can go colors, colors. Add a little comma. So if it's radial, we are going to pass those. And then the only thing left to do is to make sure that here I call them out. And make sure that I actually did it in the right format. Colors, this is going to be stat graphic colors dot putting ring colors. And we need to go import app management style presets. No errors, so it looks like that's gonna work. Cool, and then we just copy this down here to our driving stats. And this is driving ring colors. So now we do an update and we see if all of those actually worked. Let's do one more reset, get rid of any errors in the output. Ta-da. It's not terrible. That might be my starting point here. All right, yeah, I am going to roll with that right now. Segmented, we're going to do the exact same thing. And I already have whole scoring colors. Obviously, I'm using them here. So we're just going to reuse those same colors on this. It should all work. If not, I can maybe make a version of them that is lighter, but we'll get it set up to where it's a bit more automated here. Score to color. I should be passing them. This should be the same thing. And I think I could just use it there. I definitely could. So we're gonna go final list color colors. No, actually, segmented. We're gonna update this. This is going to be whole scoring segmented bar. I'm gonna use it specifically for this. And if I want to use a segmented somewhere else, then I'll need to call it there. We'll call this whole scoring multi-segment. Just segmented. And then on my stat organization, we'll update that type here. Let's do one reset, make sure that I got that right. I did, we're good. All right, and then let's just update the colors here, segmented. Shrink this down. Let's see here. Was it under style presets that I did it? It is, we have whole colors. That's fine, we can keep them like that. I won't try and oversimplify this at the moment. Return whole colors, ace color. And then let's go import style presets up here. Okay. Let's copy this, and then I'll go actually update all of them. And this can be albatross color, eagle color, birdie color, par color, bogey color, and double bogey color. And then we'll default to returning par color if something goes wrong. And then let's do a refresh. Give that a go. Yeah. So now we got the intended colors in here. I think it's pretty good. I was sticking with all of these. C2 bonus was fine, I think. We can look at the specific round here. %, C2 putting. What, I made 2 of them? Made 3 of them, I missed 3. 3 C1 putts. So the only other thing I want to do is I think, excuse me, I want to decrease the spacing a little bit here. I think this should be on my infographic view. Just whatever this padding is. then I update this call here. Let's give it the whole thing. To receive a padding value from each bidding. Padding value from each graphic config instead of hard coding. A single value for all of them. And I know that I can, I just want ChatGPT to explain it. Give me the full code for it because it is really good at making sure I don't miss little things. Do I want it to be required? I don't want it to be required. What is my padding right now? 50. So here we're going to add final double bottom padding equals 50. This bottom padding equals 50. I don't want to set it there. Okay. And then we just add this. Bottom padding. Okay. So if I do a reset here, it should look the exact same because I'm not passing any updated values yet, and it's just defaulting to that 50 number. Yeah. So big reason, just trying to decrease the amount of spacing here. But now that I have that, what I can do is now we can go to our organization file and I can update values here. So let's go bottom padding and set this one equal to 10. Bottom padding 20. And maybe whole scoring, I think maybe I just leave that as is. Maybe at the bottom of the driving stats, I keep it at 50 right now. Bottom of this, maybe 30. Underneath the progress bars, 20 is probably good. Underneath the penalty strokes, maybe 30. And ski 2, there's a good amount of spacing underneath that. And under streaks, we'll go with 20. All right, so now let's do a reset. And now we should be shrinking some of this. Yeah. So we moved putting stats up, driving stats got moved up, whole scoring, scramble, penalty. It just looks tighter, looks a little bit better, I think. Certainly still a little ways to go, but I think we're getting there. All right, so now, let's say for a second that I leave that as is. Under app management, new file, C1x Round grading. All right, so now I break out my my values here. Grade double. C1x. We're gonna go int C1x makes int attempts int C2 makes and C2 attempts, and C1 and regulation successes. We'll go C1s in regulation, and C2s in regulation, int number of holes, int penalty strokes, int course, we'll go double course difficulty. Okay. So, right, that's what I had there. Yeah. So here I'm assuming that 50% C2 putting is perfect. 1.25 is constant to adjust. So here we've got final C2 attempts, no, var. C2 attempts normalized is equal to C2 attempts if C2 attempts is greater than 5, or no, 10 is what I said, okay? Then okay. So here, factoring in all C2 attempts up to 10, don't care beyond this point. This was, there's a good chance this isn't going to work. This was, I'm literally reading off my notebook an equation that I was spitballing last night. So we're going to start it though. Calculating multiplier to use NR in the putting equation. Bar C2 multiplier is equal to 0.5. Ooh, okay. And I need general math. Do I have that import up here? I do. Gonna need it here. I'm also gonna need probably this guy. And then in my general math, I need multiplying it by 100, calculate to 2 decimals. So what I need here, okay. Calculate to 2 decimals. Var C1x putting percentage is equal to calculate to 2 decimals. Numerator C1x makes and C1x attempts, and then var C2 putting, I should probably call them decimals. Decimal is equal to calculate to 2 decimals that. So C2 multiplier is going to be 0.5 minus or I am only doing this, okay. So is equal to 0 if C2 attempts is greater than 0 and C2 putting decimal is less than 0.5, then C2 multiplier is equal to 0.5 minus C2 putting decimal times C2 attempts normalized times 2. Okay. And then we've got calculating putting half of the equation worth 5 points out of the 10 total. And then here we've got var putting grade is equal to we can do this differently. C1x putting grade worth 4 points out of the 5 total for putting. C1x putting grade is equal to 4 times, and then I go pow, and this one is C1x putting decimal, and the exponent we're going to make final equation constant equals 1.25. Do you want it to be a const? Is that our source of strife here? Okay. We'll roll with that for now. Now calculate C2 putting grade. Yep. C2 putting grade is equal to 1 minus 0.1 times C2 multiplier. Okay. Now we've got a calculating penalty for missing puts inside of C1x. C1 putt. We're going to go parked putting penalty is equal to, I need C1 misses. We need int C1 makes, int C1 attempts. Okay. So if they didn't miss a single, it's the difference. Parked putts missed is equal to C1 makes minus C1 attempts minus C1x makes minus C1x attempts. All right, am I doing that right? So if they don't miss a single putt inside of 11 feet, which most people aren't, but it's something I need to factor in if I'm going to assess a grade on putting, I feel like I talked about it in the last video. The goal of this algorithm is to assign a grade based solely off statistics. So I'm not even going to look at their round score. C1x is a stat keeping app, and that's what I want the grade to be based off of. So I'm trying to assess a penalty for any putts they miss inside of 11 feet. If they don't miss a single putt inside of 11 feet, then this should be equal to 0. Because this is basically saying for all of C1, including C1x and parked, how many putts did they make, how many did they attempt. So let's say they missed 3 of them. As long as all 3 of those misses were, I think I actually had these flipped. C1 makes. Just so we get we're getting a positive number here. But if they did miss 1 extra, so let's say they took 18 circle 1 putts and they missed 5 of them, right? So this is going to be 18, this is going to be 13. So we've got 18 and 13. Let's say only 4 of those misses were in C1x. They had 1 putt inside of parked and they missed it. So then C1x attempts is going to be 17. C1x makes is going to be 13. So the makes would be the same. The attempts would be 1 off, so we'd get a value of 1. Because they had 1 extra attempt inside of parked and they did not make it. So that should give me a good value there. Now, so our parked putts penalty is equal to negative 0.4 times parked putts missed. Okay, and then we can do a final calculating the putting grade worth 5 points out of 10 total. Var putting grade is equal to C1x putting grade plus C2 putting grade plus parked penalty. So that's putting. On to driving. I also need to figure out how to incorporate course difficulty into this, which isn't crucial right now because obviously for what I'm trying to do, which is cover worlds, course difficulty is going to be the top. Calculating driving, calculating C1 and regulation grade worth. Not going to do the worth part here. C1 and regulation grade is equal to 5 times POW. X is going to be C1. So here we need bar and regulation decimal. Yes. Yes. Perfect. And then this becomes C1's and regulation decimal. And then exponent is going to be our equation constant. And then 2 here. No, I did not. What is this? C2 is going to be C2 in regulation decimal minus C1 in regulation decimal. times 5. I think. Calculating driving grade worth 5 points out of 10 total. Driving grade is equal to those added together. I do want to assess a penalty on calculating grade deduction for each penalty stroke. Deduction is equal to 1 penalty strokes plus penalty deduction. And so then the only thing, like technically that would be true, but I just haven't factored in course difficulty. We could make this really easy right now. Const putting course difficulty multiplier equals 0.1 difficulty driving course difficulty multiplier is equal to grade, calculate adjusting putting grade with course difficulty, adjusted putting grade is equal to putting grade minus course difficulty. I want to be roughly on a scale from 1 to 5. So this will be 5 calculating putting adjustment for course difficulty putting difficulty adjustment is equal to, and then this can be 5 minus course, we'll go 5.0 minus course difficulty times that. So if the course difficulty is its hardest, which is going to be a 5, then this is just 0. If it's a 0, we have 5 times that difficulty multiplier. And then putting grade, we can just do that minus putting difficulty adjustment. Okay. On driving grade, we'll do the same. Driving difficulty adjustment, 5 minus course difficulty times driving course difficulty multiplier, and adjusted driving grade is equal to driving grade minus driving difficulty adjustment. And then we're going to go final. C1x grade is equal to, or maybe here we just, no, that's fine. It's equal to adjusted putting grade plus adjusted driving grade. Okay, I think this is going to be a start. And now how I want to test this is we're just going to go add a button up here. Maybe, should I add a button? Is that? I could do it right now without causing too much headache. Needs to be thin. Icon primary button. So I'm going to copy this. And then round dates. Da, da, da. Dismiss. And then I am just building the content. Okay. Can I cram it in next to the date? Is that even an option? I can. Obviously it doesn't look good, but all right. Give me a Flutter native icon for calculating. What about for math in general? Kind of like that. Kind of fun, okay. Not square foot. Let me see what calculate is. No, functions is better. Can I go functions outlined? What does that do for me? No different. Okay. All right. So that's what we got here. And then instead of the on pressed, we're going to get rid of that. I need to go import where I have app management. What did I just call it? C1x round grading. Okay. And then down at the button, we need to go C1x grade double. Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't really have the ideal way to go about this. Calculate circle. Let's go look at how I'm doing it on these. Round. Display whole graphics. No. Main menu display graphics. No. Round statistics. No. Somewhere under all stack keeping. I do have a lot of files. Round display calculations. Here we go. So, okay, maybe I just build it out like this. Let's go. Excuse me. All right, give me that. Let's get to my round grading. here. All right, let's go var C1x makes equals 0, var C1x attempts equals 0, var C1 makes equals 0, var C1 attempts equals 0, C2 makes, C2 attempts, that'll be a var. Alright, so let's get rid of this. We'll get rid of C2 putting. I don't need scrambles or fairway hits. I do need that. I do need number of holes. So I'm going to get rid of C1s in regulation, C2s in regulation. Yeah, we can just call that this. Get rid of them here. Number of holes. I will back it up. I need penalty strokes. Var total penalty strokes equals 0. I'm going to need to get a course difficulty value, so that's fine. We can go list string shot data. Course difficulty. Get rid of those two. Oh, okay. Oh, and parse. List int parse. All right, so no fairway hits. I need my individual stat calculations. Individual. Okay, so if C2 in regulation, then I'm adding this. I'm adding this. C1x makes here. C1x attempts be here. C1 putting shot data. C1 makes, C1 attempts, and then C2 putting. We've got C2 makes, C2 attempts. So I'm just moving all the calculations to actually be done inside of this grading function. Scrambles I don't need. I do need to determine penalty strokes. Where's my one error? Just right there. Okay. Round display calculations, total strokes. Scrambles. I think I might be done with this one. Let's go to my single round calculations. For each hole. I'm not incorporating parked right now. Something to keep in mind. Does not currently incorporate being parked as better. All right, back to single round. Total of B strokes. So I can just add to it. Okay. All right, so let's copy that. Let's go back up to here. Penalty strokes. Let's add this here. Penalty strokes. So I've got C2. I've got all the putting covered. We've got C1, C2 in regulation covered. We've got hole pars. Okay. So this should be good now. And now the only thing to fix is on round display. Our call is going to get much easier. So now we just have shot data, which is shot data sets round index, course difficulty. Am I calling it here? I am. Round course difficulties, round index, and then round pars, round index. See to that. Let's just go print C1x grade. Like so. Okay, let's do a full reset. We'll see what it gives me. So now the goal is that I hit this button and I get a printout down here that says what the grade is. .97. It's supposed to be out of 10. C1x putting wasn't great. Driving stats wasn't great. Course difficulty. I guess right now I'm passing it and it is not, the course difficulty is not helping me. So I'm saying it's a really easy course. Okay. And so let's say then that where are we at here? Like instead of this, let's say I say it's a 5. Let me do it again. Yeah. Substantially better. That should probably be even higher. I think that I missed putts inside of, I can go check on the rounds here. All rounds. Missed a putt there. Okay, so I'm never missing a part. Let's go, what we can do is we can do print putting grade. Print adjusted putting grade. Just so I can kind of see what these are. Print driving grade. Print adjusted driving grade. All right. Let's do it again. All right, so the driving grade is poor. That's where the issue's coming in. Interesting. Okay. I think on the difficulty adjustment, because right now I'm just, well, yeah. I don't think I'm quite giving enough credit to these. Especially with the course difficulty set at 5. Like being in circle 1 for putting for birdie half the time is really good. I'm at least getting a number that's in the range that I wanted it to be, so the equation is somewhat working. I think I'm just missing some finer details here. I wonder. taking penalty strokes in this round. 3 penalty strokes. So that's not helping the driving grade. That makes sense. Their C1 and C2 in regulation are the same. So that is my driving grade there. So I want that to be a little bit higher. I was not thinking about this. Let's try this. One plus, one minus. That is going to boost it a little bit, not a ton, but yeah, that takes it up to a 6. That's not, it's not terrible. Let's just, for giggles, let's say I throw in every single hole. Does this screw up my putting stat? 6.0. Because putting grade is 1.0. Yeah. So 0 to the power of 1 is what I'm getting there. One minus my C2 multiplier is equal to 0. So that's giving me a 0. If C1x attempts equals 0, is equal to 4. Yeah, so now that gives me a perfect score. As it should. Okay. Improvement there. If user aces every hole, this is needed to give a perfect score. Aces every hole or makes every C2 putt. That is no way to do that. I don't think so. Okay. 0.09. Let's round display calculations. That's what I'm looking for. Or no, that is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for general math. C1x round grading. Return to parse C1x grade. I wanted to shorten that down to just 2 decimals for me. 6.1. I don't think it's a bad start, and I don't think I'm going to improve it anymore. Any serious amount, at least, before we need to start covering first round of Worlds. So I might call it there. This section is still iffy, but I'm not going to change it right now. So I think I probably should stop here. We'll film the World's coverage. I've at least got an algorithm kind of in the app that there'll be a lot of stuff I can do with that. Step 1 is obviously going to be refining it so that the numbers make a little more sense, but we call it here. We do the World's coverage, and then maybe another video later but before I get too deep into the algorithm thing, I do think this view, the all stats view, is pretty good. So now onto the round display view, it's going to be cleaning this stuff up. That's what I got to figure out. Not this view down here is obviously the same, but this. Getting those things to look a little bit nicer. So, yeah. We're going to call it there for this video. Thankfully shorter than the last one. Made a little bit more progress. We made that bar square, so I don't have to deal with that overlap driving me absolutely up the wall anymore. And we got some colors adjusted. So, yeah. Not too bad. We are going to call it there for this video. So, as always, thanks for watching. We'll have the Worlds video coming out pretty soon here, probably. Be on the same C1x channel. We'll be creating a graphic that's going to go up on the C1x Instagram as well. But yeah, we'll call it there. We'll see you in the next one.